Hello and welcome all to the ninth part, second half of Begin Right series for parents, wherein we discuss parental role in child's education. In the first half of this part, we have written or answered a quiz. Remember, none of the responses in the quiz are good, bad, or ideal or not ideal. The correct communication between the child and the parent can be established by knowing ourselves as a parent and knowing the type of our child. This is a general video for sure, but if your child is typically in the age of 0 to 5 years, this is just for you. Baby steps, second half of the third part, knowing your parenting type. Parenting, particularly for younger children, captures two important elements. First is parental responsiveness, which talks of the warmth and support that a parent needs to give to the child. And second is parental demandingness, that talks of control, supervision, and disciplinary effort that a parent needs to take to groom the child and to take him on the right path. This divides the parents in four types. The parents with high control, low control, and the parents with high warmth, low warmth gives us four combinations. High control, high warmth are called as A-type parents or authoritative parents. Low control, high warmth are called B-type parents, permissive parents. High control, low warmth are authoritarian, C-type parents, and low control, low warmth are D-type, dismissing parents. Let us look at each of these parents, and you may be able to put yourselves in any one category very clearly or a combination of these categories depending upon the situations. You have to always think of your broader responses or your responses most of the times. Sometimes the responses may vary due to some other conditions outside. But this will definitely prove to be a good guideline to know your broader type of parenting. Type A, authoritative parents. These are the parents who have a high warmth and a high control. They are involved emotionally in the child and for all his feelings and needs. They take the responses given by the child very seriously, think over them, interact with the children very openly, give their own frank opinions and convince the children also. They do influence their children so much so that the child will automatically follow them and the child will give his controls to them. They are not dictators, but they can steer the child towards the right decisions in their vision. Take for example our question in the earlier video. If the child is reluctant to go to the school, If the child is reluctant to do some activity which the parents are feeling essential, they will sit with the child, understand the reasons why he doesn't want to do it. They agree to the valid difficulties, remold the activity to his convenience, and then make him do it. Negative feelings from the child are taken as opportunities by these parents for a dialogue. What happens on the child's side? Children feel boosted up with confidence. They get feelings that even my emotions are considered. They are also given importance. They feel free to communicate their real feeling with such parents. They are not afraid of putting up their insecurities because they know that they will be respected. They also become more responsible because decisions are not thrown on them. They are convinced and then the child himself decides to do something. These parents will not just make the child do something in the name of their experience and authority. Type B, permissive or indulgent parents. Parents with high warmth but low control. They will also listen to the child. They will also understand the child, agree with, respect the feeling of the child. But after listening, they are not able to give a decisive verdict to the child. A decision up to some age of the child is a very important parenting aspect. What is right, what is wrong? Parents may tell them to do what they like. Whatever you like, you do. They don't have any problem with any decision taken by the child. And what they feel is they have given freedom to the child. What more? We are okay whatever the child does. But they fail to understand that one inevitable part of good parenting is being able to regulate the emotion of the child. Give them some fixed boundary. Help them in decision making. Because the children are still too naive to make their own decisions. Children with such parents are kind of oversecured. In the heart of their heart, they know whatever they do, their parents are always going to understand, and they will never be asked to justify themselves. So sometimes they are unable to decide where to stop. Sometimes they may overreact, or sometimes they may not react at all where they should have reacted. If they don't emote, their parents won't tell that they need to emote at this place. Or when they have overreacted, the parents will not control them. Therefore, such children are unable to regulate their emotions to the right degree. And they also may have low concentration many a times because they are never given a fixed target. But sometimes this kind of a permissive parenting is very helpful. We will surely come to it later. The authoritarian parent, C-type. They have a high control, but their warmth is less. The typical responses in our earlier video, where the child was picked up and dumped into the school, or where he was spanked in front of the neighbor uncle for doing some mischief without analyzing or without giving the due respect to the child. These type of parents are more of bosses, and they like or they prefer to dictate terms on the child because they strongly believe that giving too much liberty or importance to a child is wrongly pampering him. Children can become a headache, a nuisance. They can go out of track if they are given too much liberty. Children have to trust us. We are parents and we know what they need better. We know what is good for them. They are too young to decide for them, is what these type of parents firmly believe. Here, the children do follow the parents because in the beginning years, the children are weak physically, emotionally. They are so much dependent on their parents that they just can't oppose what the mother or father says. Sometimes they may just rebel for the sake of it because that refusal is built in their hearts due to this overpowering nature of the parent. And even if they follow, they may not be convinced in their heart. They are just doing because they are unable to say no. And obviously so, they will not have a full heart in the activity. They will do it just for the sake of doing. One more thing happens in the students or in the children of such parents. They are afraid of expressing their true feelings or their true fears because they are always having that fear of being humiliated, abused for negative emotions. So they would always want to talk correct, ideal, which may not be their inherent instinct. Because they are afraid that if I say something which I am really feeling, then I will not be appreciated. And parental appreciation is one of the biggest requirement of the child. So, to make the parent appreciate, they will always talk ideal things. And with this, the parents may go into the feeling that, see, he is only saying he wants to become a doctor. We are not forcing on him. But we fail to understand that the child is saying this out of fear or out of his need of appreciation from the parent. And he feels that if I say the truth, I may not be appreciated. They are unable to understand the real emotion of their child because they are always wearing that dictator's cap. Of course, there is a group of children where this kind of parenting is needed, if not to extreme extents, but to a decent extent. A decisive parent is needed for an indecisive child. Once again, it all depends upon your nature and your child's nature and building a bridge. Nothing is purely good, nothing is purely bad. And the last type, D type, dismissing parent. They have neither warmth nor control on their children. They are least bonded with the child. They don't have any emotional connectivity. They don't take the child as their moral responsibility. Somehow we've given birth to them, so we are providing them with all food, clothing, shelter, education. We are spending money on them. They treat children as objects and they are not worried about the children. They are not thrilled by their virtues and they are not bothered by their vices also. They just ignore the emotions of the child. Sometimes give superficial advices or consolation, and they feel that things will settle in their own time. We are providing them the infrastructure. That is all they take as the parental duty, which is very, very mechanical. Children pick up these vibes of the parents very quickly, and they become aloof and careless about their parents. They become dry, self-centered, demanding, and they also develop a psychology that my emotions are trivial, my presence in the family is unimportant, and that may even lead to an inferiority complex. These children may turn out to be shy or unsocial simply because their confidence was never boosted. They were never given that emotional security and cushion that becomes the primary need of a child. And therefore, they will never express their emotions, and they will keep their emotions curbed. Now, this parenting type may outright sound to be a negative parenting type. Yes, of course, this type of parenting is just not advisable. But in rare cases, if the child is of a particular make, children of such parents become independent at a very young age. They comprehend at a very young age that their parents are not going to do anything for them, and they will have to take their strings in their own hands. And they develop into self-made personalities. Sometimes these effects are also seen. They may be grey in their behavior, but they are independent, self-made people. As said, there is no ideal or good parent or good type of parenting. Every type has its pros and cons, and depending upon how the child is, the parenting type may be fruitful for him or not fruitful. Depending on the type of the child and the connection that is developed in parent-child, a combination parenting or molding the parenting type can make the best formula. For example, if the child is bold, decisive and self-made already, permissive parenting proves good because the child himself knows what to do. Over there, if the parent is authoritative or authoritarian and he tries to indulge into the decisions of the child, the broth may get spoiled. So over there, a parent who says, okay, whatever you feel is great, go ahead, we are there with you. This kind of parenting becomes best. But if the child is non-confident, confused, not sure what to do, a moderately authoritative parent can help him analyze, sometimes tell him, do this, we are telling, it will be for your good. And the child does it and it works good for him. The parenting type and the child type is like a lock and key. Okay, the child has come with a typical lock pattern, and we have to get our keys done that will open the lock, because the lock will open only with the right key, and it is a parent's job to know what the child is, what kind of lock the child is having, and accordingly get your keys brushed up so that you develop that bridge. Think again on your parenting type. Think where you can mold yourself depending upon the type of your child. We will discuss types of children in the coming parts. Stay tuned. Thank you for watching this video.